Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Truth About CPN's webinar. Today, we're going to have our host, Mike Stout, who will be walking us through all the exciting things about CPN and the things that you need to know and how to keep yourselves safe. My name is April Nowlin. I will be your moderator today. Once we get started, please go ahead and use the chat button, the chat box on your screen. If you hover kind of at the bottom of your screen, you should see the chat bubble pop up. Feel free to drop any and all of your questions into the chat screen and we'll get them answered for you before today's session is over. So let's go ahead and get started. So once again, welcome to the Truth About CPN's Credit Privacy Numbers. Our host today is Mike Stout. Mike, I am going to let you take it away.
Thanks, April. Welcome everybody, and I guess we'll just get started. CPNs are kind of a scary thing, and I want to do what we can to get the word out and make sure everybody knows what they are, and just kind of move along from there. This is kind of how identity theft has become these days. So that's actually an ad that's Experian's been running, and I don't know if anybody else could hear it. I could not hear it, but basically the guy's driving up to the drive-through window and picking up identity documentation. Pretty scary. We used to play a slide in some other seminars that was from Vegas vacation, and the guy getting his fake ID on the street or on the strip. Mr. Papa Giorgio was his name, but today it's just different. It's scary how easy it is to become somebody else. This might be the scariest thing. The number of records has just, 4.5 billion things have happened. Records are stolen through these breaches. A lot of folks are familiar with the breaches we all talked about, Equifax, Facebook, and Target a few years ago. As it turns out, those three, what I thought were just gigantic breaches, were in fact accounted for less than 1% for the entire year of 2017 of those. Of breaches. So those we don't even know what's happening. It's hundreds of millions of records every single day are being taken, and that's where CPNs are coming in, and the FTC is really who made us aware of these, and while it's a federal offense, applicants are applicants, and criminals are criminals. So. Just recently, there was a ring in Scottsdale that was busted, and in that bust, it was just last month. There are 5 of these folks, and they found hundreds and hundreds of cars, the equipment to make them. They found cash, $100 bills to be specific. This is just happening. In your own backyard, in our own backyard. So it's scary, and we just don't know what exactly, if you don't know what you're looking for, you don't know. This is actually from the web, and we'll just listen to this. Hopefully we can hear it, April.
Hello, this is Cameron doing a brief video on trade line postings. I like to give updates and proof videos of my trade lines postings. We have over 300 trade lines now, posting every 1 to 2 weeks. We always find something coming up to give you a quick service. on our trade lines. Today I'm showing this is the Barclays. Again, we use the CPN numbers. I created a CPN profile for this particular client, and it gave them a score here of 732. We created it back in April. They ordered a trade line. Toward the end of April, they ordered a trade line. They ordered one of our starter trade lines. And that's why I'm kind of doing this video, because we have a promotion going on for the trade line. This is a post on both bureaus here. Of course, got a great score. Counts. The Barclays, as I mentioned earlier, it is 1 year and 3 months. It's $5,000. This is again one of our, well, it's kind of like it's a starter trade line, but it's got some, over a year old. So it's a little better than starter, but it's a year and 3 months. Authorized user, pay zero balance here. The total now, this one is $195. Very good deal this month here, $195. Normal price is $250. It's great for starter lines for CPNs. It can even work for social security numbers as well, if it's a blank social. Of course, this is an existing up and running social. It might not have as much effect as it would CPN or an empty social security number profile. And that's pretty much it. That's when I show this quick starter trade line. Posted to a score about 732. It's very good for a starter trade line.
So we'll stop the video there and just kind of want to make sure we talk about why we wanted to show this video. And excuse me, these folks are really targeting high risk individuals that that apartment, that car, that home, something they're wanting is just out of reach, and they're touting this as credit repair, for example. They're really not. There's no credit repair going on here. They're selling fraudulent numbers to use in place of your Social Security number, and oftentimes these numbers, the credit scores they're selling are in the 750-ish credit score range. And for 150, 250 something ish, there's a special here, a special there. This new report you're creating for yourself. Now you've gone from whatever you were at to a 750-ish. So it's in a matter of months in most cases. So it's pretty scary. Again, if the FTC says the use of a CPN is against the law and illegal, it's illegal. And again, these folks that are using these know they're illegal in most cases, I would imagine. And again, they're looking to take from us, from you, from me, from us all, and we want to stop it. So think about, this is kind of the way a synthetic identity is created, or a CPN. So you get a Social Security number. A lot of the services are suggesting that I've seen some of these videos, these training videos, where they suggest taking your children's Social Security number, or another child, maybe it's not yours, take their Social Security number, and their claim is, hey, don't worry about it, it's not a big deal. By the time they're 18, this will all be gone. So that's oftentimes they're some cases they're using their own names, some cases they're using others' names, but generally most of the cases I've seen is they're still using their own name. Date of births are almost always altered. It helps to hide, in many cases, their criminal records. They're using an address that, of course, is they've purchased from the file, and phone numbers again. They're applying. Typically, they're applying with a cell phone company, getting a new phone number that's never been associated with their actual true identity, and you mix all those things kind of together, and that's the beginning of their new CPN identity number. So this as simple as we can go. This is how it works. I'll just read this. And synthetic identity theft is a type of fraud in which a criminal combines real and fake information to create a new identity, which is used to open fraudulent accounts and make fraudulent purchases, etc. You get the, like I said, you get the Social Security number. It's usually a minor. You apply for a credit card. We know just even in the application process in general, at first time you apply for something, you're almost always going to be turned down. Don't have credit, don't have a credit score, etc. So that's part of what this system teaches you. These videos teach you. So now we've applied. We don't have anything. We haven't obtained a credit card or anything just yet. Now they teach you to continue with that. Go to a monitoring service. Usually they suggest Credit Karma. Credit Karma, you begin to monitor yourself. Then you can actually go out and find these services where you can pay the money. They'll list you as an authorized user on somebody else's account. Now you're beginning to build your new persona, and it's really odd. So, and I've seen these in as little as 2 months. They've got a fairly extensive history. Most of those are going to be authorized user accounts, but again, it's now there's a credit file to look at. And if you don't know what you're looking for or looking at, you're taken. This is actually a sample of a report that I saw pretty recently. So this accounts for seven trade lines. Of those 7 trade lines, they're all rated currently. Now, some of the scary parts are, and this file was 2 months old, 48 inquiries in the last 6 months. That's only in a 2-month period. 48 inquiries is scary. They know what they're doing. Okay, here are some of those actual credit lines. Authorized user, authorized user, authorized user, authorized user, etc. They were able, in this case, to eventually either open an individual account or they bought that. And so now we see the beginnings of this credit file being formed. Just to give you an idea of what some of these inquiries, where they're coming from, we didn't want to list the actual information out. But there's several screening companies mentioned. Folks are applying for, well, this person was applying for housing. They applied for auto loans over and over and over and over again, cell phones. They even applied for a mortgage. So again, it's just scary. This took this individual 2 months to actually go through this and create this identity for themselves. And again, the alerts at the end of the report told us everything we needed to know. CPN synthetic IDs, they're fraud. They're designed to defraud us. Once again, the major transactions like rentals, applying for autos, etc. It's just again, it's scary to us. We've always had an issue in the country where folks would maybe call up realtors and say, "Hey, come meet me at some place," but they, instead they were there to buy a property or look to buy a property, and that's not what they were there for. They were there for violence. So this is just another way that folks are scheming. This came out recently in a national publication. I'll just go ahead and read this. In the past, we took evictions at face value, but in today's marketplace, we're now recognizing that we're recycling high-risk renters into our rental pipeline and damaging bottom-line earnings. It's not a recipe for healthy growth, so we need to work together to protect stakeholders and honest renters alike. Terry is CEO of a company called Checkpoint. If you decide you want to Google CPN or whatever search engine you use, CPN, you'll find there's so many. You look at the various differences in how these folks look, how they're what they're suggesting they're doing. It's kind of crazy. There's just, and this is just a small sampling of what's out there in the marketplace. One word of caution I will give you is if you decide to Google CPNs, you're going to start getting notifications because they're tracking you with cookies, etc. I don't know how that works, but it happens, and you're going to get unwanted messaging, etc. So anyhow, just wanted to give you a shot of that. They're on Twitter, so they're tweeting out daily some of these suggestions. I mean, get a $100,000 business loan in 2 days, no credit check. Sure, I bet that's going to happen. Found this website recently. It's almost like they're trying to franchise the CPN business. I was looking through to become a broker, and they have different levels. It's like you're creating a franchise for yourself. But these are the various business credit, mortgage funding, credit repair, trade lines. You click there to actually buy trade lines to add to your new identity. It's scary.
A Valley woman makes a startling and really frustrating discovery.
So apparently she was simply trying to rent out her Phoenix property and realized that she'd inadvertently was being used in a scam. Here's 3 on Your Side's Gary Harper.
Well, 3 on Your Side has exposed these rental scams before and explained how they work. But imagine that you're actually part of the scam and you don't even know it. That's what happened to a Valley woman.
Little kitchen, nicely updated.
Julie Phoenix owns rental property here in the Valley and just recently listed this property for lease for just under $1,000 a month.
So I have a nice 1-bedroom, 1-bathroom apartment that recently became available, and we were seeking a new tenant. We had posted it on Zillow.
But not long after posting the rental on the internet, Julie got a knock at her door from a Valley real estate agent who told her some alarming news.
Last weekend, somebody came to me and said that they thought there might be some fraudulent listings with my property, which was quite a surprise.
Julie was shocked, and after looking into the matter further, this is what she found out. A scammer apparently copied her advertisement and not only used all the information, but also copied Julie's rental pictures. The fraudster then reposted everything in their own separate internet ad. To lure in unsuspecting victims, the scammer advertised a lowball monthly rent and security deposit totaling more than $1,300. They then asked for interested renters to wire all that money to secure the property.
They were telling them they were a traveling nurse, they were out of state, that the unit would be available in a couple of days, that everything was included, and that they should wire money.
Julie says she's angry someone would use her legitimate ad and property to dupe people.
They're trying to use my property to make money, and it's not right. It's like stealing my business.
Julie also worries just how many other people out there may fall for the fake ad out of desperation of trying to find affordable rents.
There were a lot of red flags, but I think that some people get into a position where it's so urgent that they forsake common sense.
Look, it's very simple. Always physically meet the landlord at the property and make sure that you actually get to see the inside. Also, if you're getting yourself involved in a scam,
I think we've all probably seen these cases, but that was just one that's kind of stuck with us, and we tend to use that video. So again, it happens all the time, and it's just happening more and more. Kind of talked about this already, but realtors out there that don't know who they're meeting with, I think it's important that we keep them safe, and we can stop one news story from happening that somebody's been some violent act has happened. I feel like we're doing our job. So what we're actually all here to talk about is really this high-tech criminal operation. It needs to stop, and we're really looking for folks in the industry to get involved. What we're talking about is true and verified. Again, we want to help protect folks from these criminals. Imagine there's 150,000 different last names, and now we're getting into even more. John Smith. Who is our John Smith? And we want you to have peace of mind that you know who you're running to, you know who your buyer or seller you're representing really is. With that, what I'd like to do is open up for questions, and if you haven't already, please go over to True and Verified and get yourself signed up for the for newsletters, updates, etc. As things come together. We want to make sure everybody's educated about what CPNs really are and how you can stop these synthetic IDs from altering your business and your bottom line. Any questions, anyone?
Hey, Mike, we don't have any questions
Yes.
just yet, but why don't you maybe further explain what True and Verified is and maybe how it works and some of the benefits for some of the attendees on the webinar today?
Well, I would say maybe we ought to flip to the next slide. And what True and Verified is kind of the idea, it's pre-screening. You can't, screening companies can't, at this point, you have no idea with the age of electronics and online applications. We're not meeting folks face to face anymore. And if there's a way you can stop a transaction before you even get into the transaction, that's what we want to help folks do. Again, I mentioned buyers that aren't really who they say they are, showing up and wanting to inflict harm of some sort. Wouldn't it, in my estimation, it'd be nice to know just who is this person that says they want to buy this house. Who is this person that says they want to apply? They're moving from across the country and they've applied or want to apply for this property.
Mike, we do have a question. Doesn't screening already uncover CPNs?
It really doesn't, and that's the scary part of how a CPN actually works. Now, in some sense, what you'll find in that file we showed was once the client saw the information, contacted me, and we went over it, I knew exactly what it was immediately because of our knowledge of CPNs. But no, you can't stop a CPN from being used. And in some really scary cases, and frankly, many scary cases, you don't even know that social, if they have gone through the CPN setup process correctly, it's going to come out, again, 750 or so credit score, no eviction history, no criminal history. You contact their employers, let's just say, or rental verifications, etc. These systems have call centers in place you pay for, and they just the process continues. You don't even know who you're talking to in many cases these days, and frankly, verifications have plummeted. We just go, oh, let me push the easy button, let's run this report and see what we get and move along. It's just we've kind of lost that edge of the easy button is an easy thing, but we've lost that edge of really kind of knowing who we're talking to or dealing with.
Thanks, Mike. We do have another question. Why would someone want to use a CPN?
That's actually a great question. Why would they? Because their own actual identity, they're hiding something, or maybe they want that nice new car that they have no intention of ever paying for. So there's been any number of reasons. I can only speculate. I'm not really a criminal, so I don't think like that, but I can certainly speculate there's any number of reasons. But my real guess would be simply that folks want to hide their true identities.
Thanks, Mike. That looks like it's all the questions that we have. Oh wait, we have
Awesome.
one. How would True and Verify work to solve this problem?
So if you can imagine that's fantastic. True and Verified, actually, the way it operates is that individual is going to confirm who they say they are before we even deal with them. So if I've got John Smith who wants me to represent him, wants to buy a home, or he wants to rent a property, or he wants to buy a car, etc. In this system, he's verifying he is who he says he is. It's very similar to online banking. As you set it up for the first time, you're going to be asked a series of questions that an individual wouldn't, very, very specific trade line type public record information that would not be available to someone who was using someone else's identity.
Thanks, Mike. So that looks like that's all the questions that have come in at this time.
Awesome. Well, we're looking for folks that are interested in keeping their teams safe, and we're beginning to beta test this process. Appreciate y'all coming. Feel free to reach out. Love to talk to you, and that's all I've got. Happy Friday.
Thanks, Mike. Have a great day, everyone.